Dr. John Nowicki is back with us. He's going to give us some good information, as always, on what we can do to make it positive for us.
Yeah, we've got the new year coming.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. My gosh, this year didn't go fast enough, right?
Oh,
Holy
yeah,
smokes.
really.
Hard to believe. We're zipping through. We're almost at the end of another year.
That's very true.
And we finally got some cold weather. For those of you that are waiting for snow and cold and ice fishing, you got
Relax
it.
the skis.
Yeah, for the rest of you out there, it's we're less than 120 days till spring. In my eyes, spring starts April 1st, not the official start.
Really?
Yeah, I'm an April 1st kind of guy. I've been up here too long to know that the first day is spring.
You also know what April 1st is, right?
Well, yes, I do. But
Okay.
I've been up here too long to not be fooled by the official first day of spring with a foot of new snow. So I guess I'm shortly we start the 100-day countdown till the 1st of April, and that's my way of pushing through the winter. And mind you, I moved up here 22 years ago, excited about deep snow in the mid to late 90s and cold weather. It was like, yeah, I'm up north, where I always wanted to be when I was a little kid. I grew up in Milwaukee area. But the older I get, the less enthused I am about winter, I must say.
I have to agree with you.
My patients joke.
Although I do want the good things to happen for those who depend on that time of the year to make a living.
Well, exactly. The ski hills great. We've had some
I'll
terrible
suffer
years on
my
that.
way through it.
Yep. I
So
always
you can enjoy the rest of the year.
You got it. And I still love fluffy new snow. I got snowshoes, and
It looks good.
and I love getting out there and doing it. And by the way, snowshoeing, it's a great way to get your aerobic exercise in. And
Exactly right.
All the research shows, and this started with Dr. Cooper back in the 70s, I guess. The aerobics kick came in back then. It's 20 minutes a day.
Okay.
Anything more, anything less, and you start to increase your risk of death. All right, so for those of you that are like, well, exercise is just too much work, if you go for a 20-minute brisk walk, in other words, 10 minutes away from your house, 10 minutes back at a brisk pace, and when I say brisk, you got to be going just enough to be able to talk comfortably, not be out of breath.
Okay.
If you're out of breath, maybe you can bring it back a little bit. That's my rule of thumb. And I know there's the 220 minus your age, and do 3 jumping jacks backwards and figure out what your heart rate should be and all that stuff. But I've never actually checked my heart rate as I'm going for a walk. It's a brisk pace is what you need. And that's for aerobics. And strength training, it's pretty easy too. I do what's called a Tabata in the morning. That's a 4 minutes worth of exercise. You do 20 minutes. In my case, I either do, I do the running in place. I sprint in place. So if you happen to be driving by my front window in the morning, you'll see me there running in place at about 6 o'clock for 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, and you do that for 4 minutes. Now, that's a great way to start the day. I do that. We also have some really cool equipment at the office that we do, a React trainer, a Vibe plate, and a biodensity that I also do through the week. But my daily giddy up and go is my Tabata. You can Google that on YouTube. There are a bunch of different videos on different things that you can do. Find one that you like. It's really, when you look at exercise, you want to be the high intensity is really where they're at, that HIIT principle.
Sure.
You want to put pressure into your bones to create bone growth. Most of the folks that are listening are white, and about half of those are female, and those are both risk factors for osteoporosis. So, you want to have weight-bearing exercise. Swimming, I get it. People love to swim, but it's to the same effect as a bird flying through air. When you're swimming, you're flying through the water. Your body reacts to that. If that's your primary way of getting exercise, your body actually starts to thin the bones down. In fact, they did a study years ago, and they found that the lowest bone density for Olympic athletes were swimmers. So if you're concerned about osteoporosis, less time in the water, more time weight bearing, going for walks, doing squats, just grabbing onto the countertop table edge and doing squats, going up and down. Oh, I lose my balance. Yeah, that's why I say grab onto the tabletop edge and just use that for balance. And you want to
Sure.
keep your feet flat and drop as low as you can and come back up. Okay? If you got
Okay.
knee problems, well, give me a ring. We help with that.
Yeah,
all right.
exactly.
But those are, two things. And squats, they're putting pressure where it needs to be at the femoral head. That's the place where you typically get a broken femur when they talk about I broke my hip.
Mm-hmm.
It's the neck between the head of the femur and the rest of the big long bone in your leg, that upper leg bone. So by doing a squat, you're putting stress into that femoral neck, and your body reacts. It says, well, jeepers, you're using that. We better beef it up so it stays strong. And frankly, it's one of the big risk factors for early death is a hip fracture. A lot of people get them, and they think they broke it when they fell, and what they really did was they broke it. It cracked and fractured while they're walking or something, and then they collapse, and by the time they hit the ground, then they get the pain, and they think they broke it on impact. But what they think happens most of the time is really you fracture a hip, causing you to lose your balance, you fall down, and when you hit the ground, then you're thinking, gosh, I heard it there.
Yeah.
But the way to prevent that is putting regular weight-bearing exercise into it. And by the way, how many of you want to live to 94? And if you're out there and you didn't raise your hand and say, ooh, me, why wouldn't you want to live till 94? The reasons are many, but most people would say, well, you're decrepit, you're not active anymore, you're a burden on other people, you're in a wheelchair. That's what they picture 94 to be. But Jack LaLanne lived active right to 95, just before his death, and he did lots of strength training throughout life.
Right.
So if you want to be active and be healthy at 94, when do you think you should start planning on that and preparing for it? Right now. Today's the youngest moment of the rest of your life. So if you just do a Tabata every day, you go for a 20-minute walk every day, you're putting plenty of weight-bearing stress into the bones, especially that femoral neck, and you're getting your aerobic exercise. Critical things for just your overall health. All right. So let's say you're saying to yourself, well, I don't feel good enough to exercise. I'm sore. I'm hurting. Well, you're not alone. All right. There's a whole lot of people out there that have disabling pain. We're hearing about it right now in the national news, right? Even President Trump is talking about the OxyContin crisis, that so many people are dying of these medically prescribed pain meds. If you're one of those people that's on that, the number one cause, 85% of chronic neck and back pain, which are the two big disablers out there in our country.
Yeah.
Okay, but 85% of the cause of that chronic pain is ligament injury, unhealed, poorly healed ligament damage. What are ligaments? Well, they're the straps that hold your bones together. All right, they give you the shape that you've got. All right, without them, you'd be like that pile of bones, that we used to play the whatever those pickup games, the sticks on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
You just kind of collapse.
Pick 'em up stick.
Yeah, pick 'em up sticks. That's what your bones would look like. You just collapse into a pile of them. All right. So ligaments are just that important, and you hear about sprains, strains, car accidents, football injuries, and so forth. And it's kind of trivialized. People say, oh, it's just a sprain strain. Well, there's been more than one pro athlete that has never made it back from a sprain strain. Whether
right.
that's a sprain strain to the ligaments for the shoulder, the knee, the back, which is my specialty, especially the neck and low back. My passion is the neck, and second is the low back. All right, but it functions as one unit, and when you tear up your spinal ligaments, and there's 10 typical ligaments between each bone in your spine, like you have an ACL, you hear about that in the knee, you've got 10 little ACL-type ligaments between each bone in your spine. The disc is perhaps the most famous, but you've got ligament capsules around the facet joints, and a number of other ligaments that all add up to areas that you can tear up in a car accident. You get rear-ended, you hit somebody, you get T-boned.
Sure.
All those can cause strains to the ligament. Okay, sprains to the ligament. All right, sprains, strains. Kind of people use them intermixed, but really it's a strain or a sprain to the ligament and a strain to the muscle. Make no mistake, muscles rarely cause chronic pain. Okay, they heal. You tear a muscle. I mean, you could tear a biceps muscle right in half, and you go in, you have it surgically stitched back together. 6 weeks later, it's pretty much healed. All right, you're active again.
Yeah.
Okay, you break a bone. 6 weeks later, cast is off. Okay, you're pretty much healed. In fact, that bone may actually be stronger right after that 6 weeks than even before you broke it because of the callus formation around it. Ligaments, not so. They estimate that ligaments after an injury may never get back to as good as they were pre-injury. I've heard numbers as low as 70% strength post-tearing a ligament. Of course, it depends on how bad the sprain strain is, but that's why we do the advanced testing that we do. Okay? In our office, we have the ability to order out analysis on our motion x-rays of the neck and back to determine where the ligament damage was, and then we can direct our care to it.
Sure.
All right? And if you're tired of the OxyContin, the steroids, the addictive drugs
Sure.
that, by the way, the drug companies, of course, sold them years ago as non-addictive, but wink, wink, that's okay. So no false advertising there. But that's part of the problem why we've got this OxyContin crisis is it was told to the folks that distribute it that this isn't addictive. Give it to your patients. As we find out now, it's addictive and deadly. So if you want to have your chronic pain looked at, and what do I mean by chronic pain? That's anything over 3 months. That's what the medical literature refers to as chronic pain. So if you've been having pain since last ski season, and this ski season is starting now, hey, that's chronic pain. And if you want to avoid that scenario lasting for the next 20, 30 years and screwing up your life, give us a call, 779-1300. Our initial exam is only $20, and we actually donate that to a charity. All right, currently it's the Palmisano Care Package Project. So we've got lots of troops serving overseas. We got hotspots stepping up and popping up all over the place.
Sure.
Our troops are always going to be serving overseas, and we love helping Bobby Seme get those packages overseas. So again, just give us a ring, 779-1300. Would love to give really our analysis a shot to showing you why you've got chronic pain and what we can do about it. And we go over options for you. We got 2 paths in our office. We do just adjustments, but we also have advanced care for those more complicated cases and for those people looking for a really long-term benefit.
There are those who have been putting up with these long-term headaches and don't know what to do, and they've called me and asked, Aaron, do you know anyone who can help me? And I direct them to you. They have gotten back to me and said, thanks for the call, because it worked.
Well, they appreciate it. So do we. You get to meet our patients, the testimonials.
Right.
We just started playing new ones that we recorded the last time we were at the office. Love our testimonial patients. I love all my patients, but those with a heart big enough to step up and say, I want people to hear my stories so that their lives can be reclaimed. They can lift their grandchildren. They can go hunting. They can go fishing. They can travel in retirement now like I want to and am now able to. Those are the stories you hear.
Sure.
People reclaiming their lives.
I love the smiles.
Yeah.
You definitely are doing the job.
Yeah, like the one lady said, and she's retired. She says, I
Yeah.
feel like I'm 20.
Exactly.
That's so fun for me to hear in the office, and
I'll
it's
bet
great
it
to hear
is,
outside
yeah.
the office, too, on the radio.
There's a gauge, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So you
Yeah.
you can improve your life.
Oh, yeah. If you feel older than you think you should, in other words, if you're 40 and you feel 50, 60, 70, nothing wrong with being those ages, but if you're not those ages and you think that you don't want to feel them, give us a call.
I don't want to be in my 70s as I am.
Yeah.
Feeling like I'm 70.
You want to feel younger than your age, right?
Exactly right.
Like that lady did on the radio.
Exactly, yes.
Very cool.
But that's the greatest part of my job is being able to talk with these people and get their reaction.
Well, we love having you at the
positive.
office recording those
It's
testimonials.
just so positive. And I do thank you, sir, and let's let people know how they may contact you.
Yeah, again, it's 779-1300. We're on Facebook. We're on the web, nowickichiropractic.com. Check us out. Love to have a chance to show you what we can do to help you reclaim your life.
Dr. John Nowicki with us on In Touch. For In Touch, I'm Aaron Harper.